Hi, I'm Detective Incognito. Welcome to another video. I investigate mysteries that many wouldn't dare. What you're about to see are secrets you never imagined existed. Your way of thinking will never be the same again. They say books are powerful because they preserve ideas that outlive the people who write them. But what happens when a book is so dangerous, so unsettling, that those in power decide it must be erased from existence? This is the chilling story of a forbidden text, a book that was banned because it revealed something we were never supposed to know. Tonight you will hear about a manuscript that vanished almost as quickly as it appeared, leaving behind only whispers, fragments, and the uneasy feeling that the truth it contained was too disruptive to be allowed. Imagine holding in your hands a book stamped with warnings, its cover unremarkable, yet inside were words that carried enough weight to terrify governments and institutions. Why would a simple book be hunted down, seized, and destroyed? Why were those who dared to read it silenced into obscurity? These questions lead us down a path where mystery meets fear. And as we uncover this story together, remember, the most powerful secrets are the ones that people desperately try to erase. If you are the kind of person who believes knowledge should never be hidden, then this is the place for you. Supporting this channel by subscribing and leaving a like not only ensures you won't miss stories like this, but it also helps preserve the kind of content that challenges the narrative others want to control. Stay with me until the end, because what you are about to hear is not just about a lost book. It is about the battle over truth itself. The origins of this mysterious book are hazy, and perhaps deliberately so. Some claim it appeared quietly in the late 20th century, printed in small numbers and circulated almost like contraband. Others believe it was never meant for the public at all, that the few surviving copies escaped from restricted archives. What united every version of the story, however, was its content. It contained revelations that seemed to contradict official history, accounts of hidden events, and references to knowledge that ordinary people were never meant to access. Its language was straightforward, yet the implications were profound. Those who encountered it described feeling unsettled, as if the text was speaking to them from a place of forbidden knowledge, exposing cracks in the carefully constructed surface of reality. At first glance, there was nothing outwardly remarkable about it. The book was small, plain, and lacked the hallmarks of sensationalism, but page after page, it hinted at connections between world events that suggested deliberate cover-ups, manipulation of facts, and the existence of truths kept from the public eye. Readers spoke of descriptions so specific that they could not be dismissed as speculation. It wasn't simply a collection of wild theories. It was presented almost like evidence, pointing to records, names, and events that had traces in real life. And that made it far more dangerous than fiction, because once a forbidden idea plants itself in the mind, it spreads, raising doubts that cannot easily be silenced. Those who managed to finish it said the experience was both enlightening and terrifying. One passage allegedly revealed details about political agreements that were supposed to remain secret for decades. Another described suppressed archaeological findings that challenged accepted narratives of human history. Perhaps most disturbingly, it hinted at technologies that existed long before they were ever acknowledged publicly, suggesting that humanity was not being told the full story about its own capabilities. Each revelation left the reader with the same haunting thought. If this is true, then everything we've been taught is incomplete. And maybe that was the very reason it had to disappear. Soon after whispers of the book began to circulate, authorities moved quickly. Libraries that had listed it suddenly erased it from their catalogs. Bookstores were ordered to pull copies, and in some cases, entire shipments were confiscated before reaching the shelves. Journalists who attempted to review it found their articles censored or mysteriously unpublished. and those who dared to speak openly about its contents often claimed they received threats, subtle reminders to stop asking questions. Within a few years, it had been almost entirely scrubbed from public availability, surviving only in the hands of a few who risked holding on to forbidden knowledge. The more aggressively it was suppressed, the more people wanted to know what it contained. After all, what could possibly be so explosive about words on a page? If it were mere fiction, why destroy it with such urgency? The pattern itself became proof that the book touched on something real. Historians now debate whether the censorship was orchestrated by a single institution, or if multiple groups had a stake in silencing it. What seems undeniable is that this was no ordinary publication. It was treated as if it were a threat, and in the world of information, threats are rarely imagined. Those who tried to preserve fragments of the book often did so in secret, sharing passages discreetly through letters, underground forums, or whispered conversations. Some pages eventually leaked online, though always in incomplete form, almost as if the full text resisted survival. These fragments spoke of suppressed discoveries, places hidden from the maps, and knowledge deliberately kept from humanity. Readers described diagrams of strange machines, lists of names connected to secret societies, and warnings about events that would later unfold with eerie accuracy. Whether authentic or embellished, the fragments carried an undeniable weight, the sense that someone, somewhere, was determined to hide truths that could change how we see the world. But what could be so dangerous about knowledge? That is the question we must ask ourselves. To ban a book is not merely to erase words. It is to silence ideas, to prevent people from connecting dots that were never meant to align. Authorities often claim censorship is done for protection, to stop misinformation or panic. Yet history tells us a different story. The most aggressively suppressed works are often those that come closest to uncovering inconvenient truths. And so the legend of this forbidden book grew not because of what was known, but because of how fiercely it was hidden. The act of erasure itself became a clue. Some researchers argue that the book's greatest threat was not any single revelation, but the overall picture it painted. It suggested that humanity lives inside a curated version of reality, one shaped by those who benefit from secrecy. To read it was to peel back the surface and see the machinery of control operating underneath. For some, this was liberating. For others, it was terrifying. Because once you know the illusion exists, you can never unsee it. In time, the story of the banned book became larger than the book itself. Myths grew around it. Was it written by a whistleblower who disappeared shortly after? Was it the work of an insider with access to archives? Or could it have been pieced together from documents that were never meant to see daylight? The absence of clear answers only added to its aura. And as with all mysteries, speculation filled the void left by silence. Even today, scattered references to the text emerge in obscure corners of the internet. Enthusiasts attempt to reconstruct it, combining testimonies and scraps, though no full copy has ever resurfaced. This scarcity has turned it into a symbol of forbidden knowledge, a reminder that even in an age of information, certain truths remain deliberately out of reach. Perhaps the most haunting aspect is the possibility that some of us may have walked right past hidden truths in libraries or archives without realizing their importance, until they were gone. The legacy of this story forces us to confront a difficult reality. We are told that knowledge is a right, yet history shows us that knowledge is also a battlefield. When information challenges power, it is often buried, rewritten, or destroyed. And while the book itself may have vanished, its shadow lingers, pushing us to question what else has been hidden from view. What discoveries have been buried? What events rewritten? What truths suppressed simply because they threaten the story we are meant to believe? Perhaps the true danger of this book was not that it contained secret information, but that it invited people to question everything. That kind of spark cannot easily be contained. Every time someone hears about it, every time someone wonders what was inside, the forbidden words live again in imagination. And maybe that is why no amount of censorship can truly erase it. Because the idea that something exists, something we were never supposed to see, is powerful enough to ignite endless curiosity. So as you finish this story, ask yourself, if there are books that vanish because of the truths they hold, what else might be missing from the shelves around us? What other knowledge lies hidden, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover it? The story of this banned book is not just about the past. It is about the present, about the struggle for truth that continues in silence all around us. Remember this every time you are told that certain knowledge is too dangerous for your eyes. And remember, too, that the act of questioning is itself a form of resistance. The mystery may never be fully solved, but the very fact that it exists proves one thing. There will always be truths that were not meant for us to see, and it is up to us to decide whether we will accept the surface or search for what lies beneath. If you liked what you just saw, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. Leave your opinion in the comments below to let me know what you thought. Thanks for sticking around, and see you in the next video.